jump into it, I want to just share my true, authentic story with each and every one of you. I knew from a very young age that I had a lot of spiritual gifts. And I would sometimes share my gifts with the world, and sometimes I didn't, depending on what response I would get back, right? Especially in elementary school. I was able to connect with animals in a very, very gentle way. And I also felt like I could feel other people's emotions. And Emily, if you can also check to make sure if anybody's in the lobby, just to let them in, that'd be great. Um, I could feel other people's emotions, and I can feel the energetic flow of every room. And so growing up, how we learn that we should go to school, go to college, get a job. And so I did all the things, right? So I went to college, I got my MBA, and I went into corporate America, which I thought was a great path for me, right? And it was initially. And within 6 months of starting my corporate job in tech sales, something inside of me spoke and said that you are meant for more, right? You are meant for greater things. And I listened to the voice, but I did not take action on the voice, right? I decided that I've spent and invested so much into my education, and everything inside of me is saying, go get a job, go to corporate, do all the things, right? But I knew inside of me that that was not what my true passion was and what I really wanted to do with my life. However, I stayed on that path, right? I really just decided not to fully embrace my gifts. And so I stayed in corporate for over 25 plus years. But what I did decide to do while I was in corporate was allowing corporate to work for me, right? So I allow myself to look at the good in that situation within corporate so that I can allow myself to fully immerse myself in opportunities like leadership development programs, executive leadership programs, all the education around like Toastmasters and Dale Carnegie. I invested myself in that place because I knew I was not ready to fully leap into my gifts in the world, right? And so I allowed corporate to work for me, but then there was still that small voice inside of me saying, you have greater things to do in this world. And how do we get you out of there, right? How do we get you out of corporate? So, fast forward to 2023, the technology industry was shifting and a lot of layoffs was happening. And I was actually a person that was impacted by one of the layoffs that was happening in my corporate role. And so that was a sign from the universe telling me it's time for you to fully embrace and step into your gifts. It's time for you to stop playing small and to embrace who you are and why you came here on this planet and stop hiding, right? And so I said, okay, universe, I hear you, but I need to make money, right? Because for me, it's about being and to be able to have, a comfort, right? And a comfort in finances. And so I said, prayed deeply and I said, okay, God, if this is really what you want me to do, and I know it's time for me to step into this, then help me. Bring me to the right resources, the right training, the right people to help me get my gifts to the world and help as many people as I can. And I need you along my journey, God. I really need you to step in and walk beside me the entire way because I don't know what I'm doing. I know that I have all this great corporate experience, which builds on where I am today. But how do I transmute and transform that energy of those experiences, really leaping into my true potential? And so that is who I am. This is my story. And thank you for allowing me to share it with you. I'm hoping that this story resonates with some of you. I'm sure it does. And I want to just say thank you for allowing me to share, being authentic and being true to who I am and being vulnerable, right? Because we all have vulnerable moments within our lives where we feel like, are we doing the right thing? And to know that you are doing the right thing. Listen to that small voice inside of you. So thank you. So, Emily, would
Thank
you
you,
like to share your
Darnelle.
story?
What an
Yeah.
empowering story. And I love how you just like fully embraced who you are, even though when you didn't feel like you fit in, you still was like figured out how to navigate through. You didn't become a victim in that.
Yes. Thank you.
So empowering. Thank you. Um, so my story is a little bit different in that I am an empath. I'm a very sensitive empath. And as a young child, really like always taking on everybody's emotions and feelings and never wanted to hurt anyone. So I became a people pleaser. I became somebody that wanted to just like, I could feel their pain. So I never wanted to share my truth. I disempowered myself so I didn't have to feel the pain that they would be suffering. So I thought if I spoke my truth. I found myself in my early 30s in a marriage to a narcissist. Um, and when I got married to him, he had 10 years of taxes that had not filed. And I had told him a year and a half before we got married that I wouldn't marry him unless he filed these taxes. Unfortunately, I made the decision to marry him when he still didn't file the taxes before we got married. And that gave him the right to just do whatever he wanted to me because I didn't respect myself enough. It was a very painful lesson, a lesson with a man that I was with for, yes, Vasily. I was with for a total of 14 years. I was married to him, I think, for 11. And in that marriage, 10 of those years, we lived in and out of hospitals because he was very ill. He was also an alcoholic. We struggled greatly. We lost our home. We were homeless together. We lost health. He lost his life, lost our money. We went bankrupt. You name it, we lost it. I went through great hell for never speaking up for myself. I had to go through that to be able to find my courage, unfortunately. And that is something that I'm super passionate about in sharing this with other women that they don't have to go through these awful, trying situations and allowing other people to take advantage of us because we deserve to be respected. We deserve to be heard. We deserve to speak our truth. And if somebody doesn't want to hear it, that's their choice and that's their journey. It's not ours. And I learned that lesson in such a powerful way. I have no regrets. Yes, I wish I would have had the courage to not marry him, but I learned so much. And now I can be there for so many other people because I went through it. So that's my story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Emily.
And I
Oh
make
my
one
God.
comment. I like to make a comment
Yes.
about what Emily just said. You had to go through that in order to get to where you are today.
Right? I had to. I had
Right.
to heal.
So
I wouldn't have healed if I didn't go through it.
that's a great decision.
Yeah, it was so tough. A lot of karma through.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Emily, for really stepping in to who you are and how you grew out of that right situation. And because of your experience, it's going to help other women who are going to hear your message and your story and be able to help heal them and give them encouragement on how they too can be the best version of themselves, right? Despite your situation and who you are and where you are, and if you're in a situation where you just feel like there's no hope, there is hope. There is hope for you too. So thank you, Emily, for that amazing, warm, loving story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love that message. There is hope. We
Yes,
can't focus on the circumstances. We have to look at where we're headed and we
yes,
have to create that. And we can absolutely create that. So I'm going to go back to the screen share really quickly here.
awesome.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So,
All right. So while you're here and what you'll learn is really going to be important to you, right? So we know that time is very important. So we want to help you think about when you wake up every day. We all have individual struggles, right? You feel stuck, you feel overwhelmed by doubt, fear. You might even feel imposter syndrome, right? There is a pull that's pulling you towards that thing that's going to make you so great in living this version of your life right now. Is like, how do we help you get unstuck? How do we help you not feel fearful? How do we help you not feel imposter syndrome, right? Because we've been taught those things, right? They are not true for you, right? I know some of you heard the term fear edging God out. Fear. What's the acronym?
False
Fear.
evidence.
Yes, thank you. False evidence appearing real. Thank you. False evidence appearing real. So our minds will tell us, here's the thing that we should be fearful of, but we're anticipating a future state that has not even happened yet, right? So why do we clamp on and hold and embrace that future state that it hasn't even happened yet? There could be a totally different outcome for you, right? So let's do the reprogramming. Let's do the neurolinguistics. Let's get your brain rewired around new language to help you propel and step into that best version of yourself. So if you think about where you are today, right? We want to meet you where you are. There's a big promise that we can commit to you is that you'll have 4 daily practices to help you break free from fear and stepping fully into your purpose.
Awesome. So the truth about fear and comfort zone. Our brains love limits. Why? Because limits creates predictability. And when things are predictable, we feel safe. Right now, there is so much uncertainty in the world. Many of us are not feeling safe. We want that predictability. But the truth is, when we play small, we feel safe, but it's actually costing you more than what you want. The playing small is having such a huge cost on your life. Every time that you choose safety over growth, you're trading your limitless potential for familiar mediocrity. Staying small isn't actually safe. It's familiar. You can actually release this belief at any time. This powerful truth is your limit. The powerful truth about our limits is not who we are. It's our story that we've been telling ourselves. It's an agreement that we are now outgrown. Otherwise, we would not be here today. If you didn't want to get unstuck, if you realize you're playing small and you're ready to change it and you're seeking that courage, you've outgrown these limits. So today is all about breaking these agreements and stepping into the reality of the woman that you came here to be in this lifetime. Your agreements are not carved in stone. They are choices that you've made mostly from your subconscious, totally unaware of. And these beliefs have been handed down to you by someone else. These truths about yourselves that these are truths about yourself that you've internalized, and that it's a choice that was handed down to you, and you've turned it into your story. There's this one story, I meant to look it up before this, and I keep thinking about it, and it's about a woman, and she's making a roast for a dinner party. And as she's making the roast, she's cutting off the 2 ends of the roast. Have any of you guys heard this story? Okay, so she's cutting off the ends of the roast and puts it in the pan, and she's cooking it. And at the dinner party, one of her friends goes, "Why do you cut off the ends of the roast?" And she's like, "Well, that's what my mother taught me." She's like, "I don't know." So she goes to her mom and it's like, why do you cut off the ends of the roast? And the mom's going, "Well, that's what my mom taught me." Well, that mom happened to be alive. So the grandmother was still alive. So she asked the grandmother, "Why do we cut off the ends of the roast when we're making it?" And she goes, "Because my pan was too small." It's something that's handed down that doesn't need to be there anymore.
Right.
The pan is too small. So maybe you've been telling yourself things like, "I'm not a good leader. I'm not good with money. I'm not good with whatever, fill in the blank. I'm too loud. I'm too old. I'm too young, or I'm not bright enough." Who taught you this? Who gave you this belief? Was it a handoff comment from a parent, a teacher, or a friend? Or was it a story that you picked up from a failure and you carried it as your identity? When I was in 5th grade, so many of you guys know I had learning disabilities. I couldn't read or write or comprehend, and I had to self. And I remember my 5th grade year, all I wanted was to fit in. And I was working so hard every year for the spelling test, or every week for the spelling test. There'd be like 10 words on the spelling test at the end of the week. And I would go through it with my dad every night so I could get those words right. And every week I would get 100% on my spelling test. And one time, midway through the year, my teacher says, guess who's gotten 100% on every single spelling test? And the class named the smartest girl in the class. And she goes, nope, it was Emily. The whole class went through and said, no way, she's stupid. That was an identity I carried and I still work through on a regular basis. So who told you this story? I was getting 100%. That wasn't who I was. I made it who I was. I turned it into my identity. What I would love for you to do if you have a pen and paper is just to write down one truth that you've believed about yourself that now is feeling really heavy. Like you're like, I don't want to carry this weight around anymore. It's constricting me. It's not allowing me to be who I am. So just take a moment and think to yourself, what is that one thing? And as you write that, then I want you to write down or ask yourself, who taught this to me? Who gave this to me? And does this belief still serve me? The second you start questioning these truths, these limits for yourself, you actually are starting to strip them of their power. And you're starting to strip these limits away from you to open up to new potentials within yourself. So let's explore this just a little bit further. Think of an area in your life or your business right now that you're playing small. How are you playing small? Maybe you're undercharging. Maybe you're scared to get out there. I'm not going to speak for Darnelle, but I'll speak for myself. Doing this kind of stuff is something I've been wanting to do, but I haven't. And it takes courage and it takes community. Darnelle being a sister to go, can we do this? Let's do it. You know, having connections to help lift each other up. I was playing small for the last year and a half. I've been playing really small in my business. Maybe it's having healthy boundaries with loved ones or clients that you know they're taking advantage of you. Where are you playing small? Once you identify that, ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen if you go big? You do that thing you're so scared of, because that thing you're scared of is the thing you're meant to do. Then ask yourself, what is the cost of staying where you're at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're able to identify these two where you're staying small, the cost far outweighs going big. And going big and taking that leap, the only reason you're not doing it is because you're scared. It's so scary. We're going back to our minds. Our brains they want predictability. They don't want the unseen. We don't know that it's safe. But when we can trust that we have courage to take those steps into the unseen, that we aren't going to be staying small, we can become big and go into the life that we were meant to go into in this lifetime. Things shift for us. And that kind of courage is the kind that moves you forward, even when fear is screaming in every single cell of your body. It's holding you back and saying, no, no, no. But that courage says, yes, yes, yes. It's there, even when fear is there. That courage is what you build from experience, and it gives you the ability to continue to move forward. So again, it's not the absence of fear. The fear is there, but you're still moving forward. So every time that you say no to a limit, choose to move past it. Choose to expand into the possibility of who you are meant to become. Because choosing growth over safety will take you one step closer to the limitless you.
I love that, Emily. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
That was so powerful just to think about, like, how can I be courageous even inside of the fear, right? Even inside of the feeling of being fearful. How can I just take a step and then another step into feeling courageous? Wow. Yeah, that really hit me. That really hit me. So thank you for sharing that.
We all have a
You
lot to
think
lose if we
about,
don't have that courage.
yeah, right? I mean, like, fear can be so paralyzing, right?
It,
Um,
mhm.
and when you think about, like, the four daily practices that you want to incorporate into your life and into your potential, Emily, you can move to the next slide. If
Mm.
you think about, like, can you guys hear me? Can
Yeah,
everybody still hear?
your screen is frozen, but I can hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, we can see you and hear you
Okay,
now.
okay,
Mhm.
okay. I
Mercury
was frozen for,
retrograde.
yes. My is
Uh-oh.
yeah, Mercury retrograde is all over me today. So yeah, when we think about the four practices, the daily practices, right? We want to first reframe fear, right? Because fear is really just about helping you grow, right? So fear wants to keep us safe. That's our brain saying that this thing that we're trying to do, this thing that we're trying to just step fully into, the potential, the growth, being courageous, doesn't feel safe. So the fear is automatically going to help you revert back to what's been your comfort zone and what you've been feeling safe in, right? So fear is not really like a stop sign. It's more like an invitation to yourself up, right? So when we think about leveling up, it's just as simple as an example, right? For me, when I was 5 years old and I was learning how to ride a bike, and my mom was helping me learn how to ride a bike without the without the tricycles and just the two wheels, I was wobbly, right? And then a couple of times I fell off the bike, right? And even though I knew that there was a possibility, the fear of me falling and getting hurt and scraping my knees and my elbows, it was something that was so strong innately in me that I wanted to master and be courageous around getting back on that bike, right? And mastering the ability to ride the bike on two wheels and being successful. And even though I knew that I can fall, fear was trying to keep me safe, like, don't get back on, don't get back on. But the drive inside of me was so strong to step out in my potential of being successful on learning how to ride that bike. I got on that bike every single day, even with the wobbles, going back and forth. And with every little step and every little practice, I mastered that thing, right? It was baby steps along the way. But what it did allow me, even through the fear, I excelled and pushed myself through the fear because the intent and my will was way stronger than what fear could hold for me, right? And so when you think about what is the fear actually guiding you towards, what comes up for you? What comes up for you when you think about fear being held, holding you feel like it's holding you captive, but really it's guiding you towards safety. And so you can tell the fear, hey, I know you're here to protect me, and I appreciate you because you have been my rock solid on making sure that I'm safe. However, I would ask that you sit in the passenger seat while I'm driving the car, right? Because now I'm able to steer in the direction that I know that's going to propel me forward, right? So fear, you're still there. I know you're shielding me, you're protecting me, but you're not in the driver's seat anymore. You are in the passenger seat. And I'm going to show you that I can handle this next thing, this next level up in my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the example of you on a bike. I could totally see you on a bike and that fearless Darnelle going, nope, I got the wobbles, but I'm doing
Yes.
it.
Yes. Push, 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 push. Yes.
Push
Pushing
through
forward.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
So when you think about also, um,
Great.
you can go back to two, Emily. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, two. Okay.
Yes. When you think about like when fear shows up for you, but you want to move anyway, right? You got to move instantly. So when you have an idea, something's downloading to you, the next version of what is going to get you to your goal, you got to move within 10 seconds. Otherwise, fear will definitely talk you out of it and it will allow doubt to creep in. So anytime you're feeling pulled to do something, the next best thing to do, number two, within 10 seconds is to make a move towards that goal, right? So the goal could be, I want to learn a new language, right? And your fear can instantly come in and say, why would you want to learn a new language? The language that you know is perfect. But if you want to travel internationally, as an example, or if you want to talk to your neighbor who speaks another language, then it's an opportunity for you to step into pushing you forward to learn that language. It's not going to be easy initially, and most things that require a lot from us, not always as easy, but it can help you move to that next best thing in your life. And moving to that next best thing is what's going to bring you joy and happiness and align you with your purpose, right? And so let's allow fear to be there as a protector on the side or on in the back seat. But within 10 seconds, it's important to step into that pull that's making you want to do that thing that's calling your spirit to do.
So I love that. And so one thing that I love to do when I have that fear that's like starting to cripple and paralyze me is I will say to myself out loud or in my head, if I'm like in a position I can't say it out loud in this 10 seconds, is I will say, I am not in agreement with this thought anymore or this belief anymore. I
Yes,
am no longer in alignment with this. Then I can take that step forward.
yes, yes. I love that. And in addition to the fact that I know we've talked about this little tip too. Whenever fear jumps in, I'll say cancel, clear, delete, right?
Yes,
So
I love that.
CCD, right? Cancel,
Mhm.
clear, delete. I'm not even allowing it to just immerse itself into my subconscious. I'm not even accepting it. So clear, cancel, delete that thought so that I don't even allow it to step and steep inside of me.
So good, so good.
Yes.
Okay, so the next step, the next one is, Darnell, do
And
you want to go into this one too?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So when you think about showing up for the future version of yourself, right? Stepping into your purpose as if it is already existing, which it is. Like we know that time really doesn't exist, right? So when you think about how you want to be that next version of yourself, and let me just give you an example. So when I was in corporate America, and early on in my career, I had some leaders that I admired and mentors that I wanted to emulate myself after. And so I learned early on that it's important to start to encompass that version of who you're wanting to be in the future in the moment now. So that meant studying leaders that I admire, dressing the part of the role that I wanted to be in, so two levels up, right, as an executive, speaking the way that executives be, having conversations and being in the rooms and volunteering for opportunities and stretch projects to get me to that next level so I can have that visibility, right? So it could be anything in your life, right? For us, it's stepping into our spiritual gifts, right? And being leaders in our spiritual gifts and allowing others to see who we are. And so as we are growing, others are looking at us like, oh, I want to be like them. But they're already there. They just have to visualize themselves, and you have to visualize yourself already being that version of yourself that you are becoming. You are that person right now. Right now, you are your future self. All you have to do is visualize, feel in the moment what does that future version of me look like? What does my environment look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Encompassing all of your senses to really feel that version of who you are going to be and affirming that, right? So creating affirmations, speaking positive language into your subconscious, speaking that version of you right now as you are your future self. So every day, I want every morning, every day, whenever it works well for you, if you could look at your highest self and show up for yourself every single day, what does that version of you look like? Right? And have, if that means creating a vision board of your future self, right, through Canva or a physical vision board and putting it in a place that you know you will see every day, then that allows the brain to see that future version of you and fully tap into that as if it is existing right now.
Mm, so good. So if you want to take a moment and just write down, because you've identified where you're playing small and what you want to overcome. So what's your future self say to you about this? How do you step into that? How do you visualize? What is she doing? How is she acting? How does she handle this fearful situation? How does she step into the courage? They're fully embody it.
Yes, I love that. And then the fourth step I think is really critical is celebrating your growth daily. So allowing yourself to create the shift that you want, but also celebrating along the way. Our minds are always seeking progression and confirmation and confidence. And so you want to speak to yourself in a way like you would speak to your inner child, or if you have kids, like your children, right? You want to encourage them, you want to give them confidence, and the brain will start to rewire around positive things and pulling in that future version of yourself. So every night, I want you to think about writing down 3 ways where you fully stepped out of your comfort zone, even if it's micro steps, right? Like I picked up a pen today and I wrote what my future self looked like, or I put a post out on social media. If it's a small thing, whatever that thing is for you, every night or in the morning, whatever works for you, I want you to write down 3 ways that you've stepped out of your comfort zone into that future version of yourself. So, again, the mind needs encouragement. The mind needs confidence. The mind needs um, remembering that you are your future self. So, treat it like you would a little child. Like, I'm so proud of you. Speak to yourself in a loving voice. Like you're doing great things. You're stepping into that version of you that you know you can be. The world is unlimited. The sky is unlimited. You can have whatever. So those affirming words, the brain needs to hear that. They need to know that encouragement is coming from you so that you can start to feel who you're going to be.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any questions so far before we continue on, or is everybody good? All right, thank you.
Awesome.
So why you need more than just this training? One thing too that Darnell's talking about here about like embodying your future self and cherishing or celebrating those daily wins, they're so important. But what I have found, without an accountability partner or some guidance, I tend to go back to my old ways.
Mm-hmm.
Or I hit my goals and then I stop everything that got me there, thinking it's going to keep going. But in all honesty, this type of work, this stepping into your power, this stepping into the courageous you, is something that is a constant daily discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that you have to make the decision that you want this, and you work on it every single day.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you're just going to go back to your old ways, because as humans, we are programmed and wired to be lazy. That's just how we are. It is the truth. But those of us that say enough's enough, I'm tired of living this mediocre life. I want more for me. I'm tired of not being able to speak up. I'm tired of just getting by, struggling. I want more. You're going to have to step up and you're going to have to do more. It doesn't just get handed. So this is where coming in with a partnership, coming in with people that are going to walk with you hand in hand and guide you step by step as you step out of feeling stuck or playing small and going into the spotlight of who you truly are in this lifetime.
I have a question.
Yes.
Well, this is personal. I have a problem with asking for help or assistance. So
A lot of women.
how do I get out of that? It's like I don't mind doing for others. I go out my way and exhaust myself and tend to just put myself to the side. You know, so I have a problem by asking. I guess because I don't want to hear a no.
Yeah. And what's wrong with getting a no?
Because I'm always doing for others.
So maybe that
But
no
I'm
is there for a reason, though, to learn
I'm
from.
thinking that I guess folks are like I am in a sense, but they're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's important to understand, okay, this is one area I am playing small. I am not asking when I need to ask. And why do I have this fear inside of me? A lot of that fear is a fear of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Right.
fear of rejection is a deep rooted wound. And if you can go in and understand that that rejection of somebody else, their judgments of you are all their own, like, projections. It's their own insecurities. And
Well,
once you
I
understand
understand that
that,
part. I understand that part. I
so
don't really, it doesn't bother me about how someone cares about me because I
okay,
care about me. It's just that I can't understand, I have a problem. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even, I don't even think it's rejection. It's just the type of person, nature way of me being, but maybe it is. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. And
Like,
that's something
even,
we can.
even individuals that I have done a lot for.
So
And you know
the
what? I don't measure or even think about what I have done. I'm thinking that the heart is open on both sides.
Yeah, it's not always open on both sides.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, everybody's in a different place. So,
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's identifying that. Yeah.
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 I was going to also interject and say thank you, Nancy, for sharing your question because I think this can resonate with a lot of us on our journeys, right? As we're self discovering who we are and what our life should be and expectations. I think it's understanding like your true nature because I know you're such a giving person that others on their journey are at different levels, right? And so being understanding enough of other people on their journey to not have expectations on the outcome, right? So even though you might ask a certain person for something that you've done something for, that opportunity or blessing may come from a different source,
All right,
right?
yeah.
Or a different
That makes
way,
sense. I
right? That
understand.
may come in for you and it may not necessarily come from the person who you're specifically asking for, right?
Right,
Because we want to have our heart open and ask the universe to give us what we need and not be attached to the outcome of where it comes from, right?
right, right,
And so if we focus on downloading and allowing the universe to give us specifically what we need in a time of our need and be open to how it comes to us without the attachment of who we think it should come from, right?
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there are times that I'm not even, well, I never look for anything. It's
Mhm.
just sometimes it's just a simple notion of being appreciated.
Right. Mhm.
And that's not even recognized sometimes. That's not
Mhm.
even honored.
Right.
So then I go into another kind of way of thinking, oh, well, is this karma?
Mhm.
Can you try to flip it on the other side? Well, maybe that happened in another lifetime, which we don't remember. And I said, okay, I'll accept that too. But
Well,
Mhm.
and
just
and
being appreciated.
it's really wonderful to be just curious and vulnerable with it and just being like I have this exact same struggle. Like when people don't appreciate, I put out and I'm like, wait, I don't get it. So I'm understanding exactly where you're at. But I have to reframe it for me and go, okay, this is a lesson for me that I need to understand because this is my own wound within me.
Mhm.
like you were just saying, it could be a past life thing or karma or whatever that we just have to deal with and go, okay, why do I feel this way? I start asking myself these questions. Why am I feeling this way? Maybe this person is going through a lot right now and I have no clue. I
Mm-hmm.
can't judge where they're at, but I'm human.
Right. But you don't want to get to a point where you just close in and shut out.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That
and we're gonna go deeper into a lot of that in the next steps. So we can talk a little bit more about what the offer will be.
mhm.
But I want to just Emily, yes. So did you want me to talk on this
Oh, yeah.
slide
Yes.
and
Yes.
speak to it?
Mhm.
Okay. So thank you, Nancy, for sharing. We really appreciate your
Yeah.
vulnerability and authenticity. So how does the parallel shift really help you go deeper? So we want to offer clarity, right, on your purpose. And so we have a framework that's called the Ikigai. There's an Ikigai framework that was, I think it's a Japanese framework that really helps you to think about like what you specifically love to do, what you can be paid for doing, what the world really needs, and what are you good at. And so within this framework, it helps you to really get clear on the different areas that really light you up, right? And so that's going to be a part of the training that we're creating to help you really step into understanding your full potential on who you are. We want to also incorporate like eliminating those self-sabotaging blocks that you have through mindset work, neuro linguistic changing of the words that you're sharing with your brain, right? Changing and shifting the subconscious of your brain, giving you affirmations, giving you meditations, things that can help you start to reprogram your brain, and also downloading like the light codes through our light language and giving you the sound therapy, the energetic therapy that you need. Will create a custom action plan that can confidently help you grow, right? So when you think about where you are in your journey, and everybody's individualized and different, but there are going to be some commonalities, right? And so we want to group all that together to collectively help you move through your action plan to get you where you need to go to the next level. And then we want to offer you ongoing support and accountability. So we're going to create a communication mechanism, which is called the Voxer app, where you'll have access to us to put in your questions between what we say U.S. time. I know everybody's different time zones between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to allow you to put in your questions throughout the day, and Emily and I will monitor that Voxer app and provide feedback, ongoing feedback. It'll be a collective community app where we all sharing information back and forth because we want to have it in that way that if your question is something that is resonating with you, I'm sure it will resonate with somebody else, and so we can share the information back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is our course that we're going to be launching. It's an 8-week class called the Parallel Shift, and it's unlocking your true potential and step boldly into your purpose. So again, it's 8 weeks. It's 3 weeks on and 1 week off for a week of integration. We're going to be starting next week, next Tuesday, April 1st at this exact same time. And the early bird pricing right now for this course is $597 if you purchase by March 28th. And the regular price will go up to $797 after starting on March 29th. And the doors actually close on March 31st. So it's an 8-week mastermind course that we will be going through and doing a lot of clearing and healing and integration to help people truly step into their purpose. So we are offering a special offer for anybody that wants to sign up today. They will receive a 30-minute integration call with myself or Darnelle. So
Awesome. So we've been doing this work for quite some time now. We had the opportunity to pull these two beautiful ladies that we've been working with closely. Emily worked with Jacqueline, and Jacqueline shared her story about how amazing Emily is, and her connection is so real with spirit, and how Emily was able to tap into Jacqueline's pains within her body, on her left side, her lower back, and her hip, and also to predict that, Jacqueline was really wanting to get out in her community and help other women of color. And, Emily didn't know any of this, right? But just because of Emily's gift, she's been able to fully tap in and to create a wonderful experience for Jacqueline. And her gifts are absolutely amazing. I've had Emily work directly with me, and I just love how she really makes you feel safe, right? Emily definitely creates a place of warmth, kindness, and support. And if you get the opportunity to work with Emily through this container that we're creating, you won't regret it. And JoJo is someone that is dear to my heart as well. I had the opportunity to work closely with JoJo. Some of the ladies on the call know JoJo, just through our container in our class. I had a session with her, and she felt really inspired, and she felt really grounded and calm. And I was creating a very clear space and helping her clear her mother wounds, because my talent and what I really focus on is ancestral and generational trauma, to help you heal your DNA and repair that lineage, that timeline of those lives, so that you don't carry that into your next generations. And so, just based on JoJo's experience, she felt very safe in connecting with her guides and my guides. And through my light language, is very tribal, which some of you, I think all of you on the call have experienced. And I just love to deliver in that way. So, just wanted to share a couple of the testimonies of the ladies that we've worked closely with, and to allow you to understand the type of work that we both bring to the world.
Yeah, this is not light work at all. Or it is light work, but it's deep light work.
Yeah. Deep healing work, right?
Exactly. Deep wounds will be healed so that
Yes.
you can move forward, move into that courage that you're seeking. So just a recap of today and what we've talked about is fear is a signal of expansion. It's not a stop sign. It's not telling you to stop. It's telling you to step into that courage and keep moving forward. And then action kills doubt. So that power of 10-second rule that Darnelle was talking about, just take action. What was it? Cancel, clear, delete.
Yes.
Or my saying is, I don't align with these thoughts anymore when I have that fear, and then I step forward and keep moving. And then the fastest way to step into your purpose is to embody your future self. Who is she? How courageous is she? What is she doing? What does she do for fun? How does she make her money? How many hours a week is she working? Is she working? Who is she? It's really going deep into her, and start to embody her today as if you're already her. And then lastly is, you now have the first step. But if you truly are ready to claim your potential, let's do this together. Join us inside this 8-week program where we will go deep to clear blocks and create the real transformation that you are seeking. So as we wrap up, we just wanted to see if any of you guys had any questions, as well as we've offered to do any intuitive readings too, if somebody wants a little mini reading. Nancy wants a reading. Does anybody have any questions at all before we go?
I have one question as far as the cost. Do you guys have a payment plan, or just one, just to fee yourself?
Yeah, so we will be offering options to break up the payments, and we'll definitely share that with you can pay up front, or you can pay a little bit extra if you want to pay over a monthly payment plan. Yes, we will offer that. Yes.
Absolutely. Do you have that link, Darnelle, at all to drop in the chat or not?
Let's see.
I want to look into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but we'll follow up and
email it out.
Yes,
yeah, we'll email it out along with this recorded
Yes.
too. So
Exactly.
Is there any other questions at all that anyone has? Yes, Nancy.
I was like
the questions.
I was like this in school. I don't think I ever want to take that away, but is it okay to pass the word? like just to
Please.
have
Share.
friends.
Yes.
Yeah, right
Uh,
now we need as many people to step into their power because literally we don't have time left to be just looky-looing and being interested in the spiritual, growth or it's like right now the time is here. The
right.
world is shifting and it's our time to really step in to help people move through the shift that we're currently in.
Especially with the a lunar eclipse coming March the 29th.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. It's time to fully embrace who you are, right? And I know that you're having a little fearful moment, right? Like, should I do this? But it's time for the sleeping giants to wake up, right? We're all meant to do something great in this planet and allow us to be your community, your accountability partners, your partner in crime or whatever it is that feels natural and right for you to help you move to that next level, right? Because it's time for us to elevate the consciousness of the planet. We are in two polarities right now, right? And so we want to open up and to educate as many souls as we can through our natural born purposeful gifts that we came here to do.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you.